Nikiforos Diamandouros, you've been Ombudsman for 10 years, and in that time you say that the EU administration has become more transparent, citizen-friendly and service-minded, and yet you've opened a record number of actual inquiries in 2012. What does that mean?
Well, I think what it means is good news. It means that more and more the European institutions and more of the European citizens are aware of their rights and aware of their obligations as far as the institutions are concerned, and therefore they know where to go. They go to the European Ombudsman, pose their questions and allow us to be able to help them. So I would derive, in fact, satisfaction from these kinds of statistics as evidence of the fact that the citizens are now better able to exercise their rights under the Lisbon Treaty.
You mentioned that there have been obviously improvements, a much greater attitude, much better attitude towards service on the part of the actual institutions themselves. Has there been really a sea change during this past decade?
I always like to choose my words very carefully. I would say to you that there has been a perceptible change, an important change, and certainly we are very far away from where we were before 2001, when the law of the land, so to speak, the prevailing practice was a practice of secrecy, whereby all information available in the hands of the public administration was to be given out at its discretion, which implied, of course, that if it chose not to give it out, it had the discretion not to do it. And this is where what has been a sea change, because since 2001, with a new regulation, in fact, all the information is by definition public, and therefore the institutions must give it out unless they can invoke four and only four specific exceptions to this particular rule. So that is a sea change. Applying the sea change, applying the law to life implies a gradual evolution, and I think that there's been significant evolution, but there's always a great deal of room for improvement at all times, and this is what I'm trying to do by proactively pushing for this at all levels.
You say that there's been a change in the mindset here, but in the case of transparency, I know that you look back on things like, for instance, the European Medicines Agencies is something that where your office has made a difference, a major difference.
I would like to think that there have been a number of areas where the office has been able to make substantive and substantial difference, and we've actually moved. And clearly the case that you mentioned with the European Medicines Agency is very important, because the decision of that agency to release information of clinical trials for medication that affects millions of people, means that actually we now have a decision to disclose information on matters that really touch the daily lives of millions of citizens. And to the extent that the Ombudsman has contributed to this kind of change, I would feel very happy. Whoever succeeds me ought to be mindful of the need to be able to take account of this issue of appearance and perception, and not only the genuine issue of independence and impartiality. The Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development has developed criteria of conflicts of interest, and has spoken not only of real conflicts of interest, but apparent conflict of interest. You've got, as an ombudsman, because you are a moral authority, because you stand or fall on the credibility of your moral authority, to make certain and make sure that the perception of you as impartial and independent is never in any way questioned.
Just finally, you're stepping down on the 1st of October. I can't imagine you retiring. What are you going to do?
Thank you. I think it's a very accurate description. As you know, I'm an academic by nature. I have been a university professor all my life, and one of the areas that I have missed in the past 15 years that I have been Ombudsman, 5 as National Ombudsman of Greece and 10 as European Ombudsman, has been, of course, the fact that my professional obligations as Ombudsman had to come first, and I have not been able to write academically, and I'd like to go back to writing. And to be able to record my experiences as European Ombudsman, to write about the field of my specialization, which is the quality of democracy, to link it to the Ombudsman. I'd like to also return to my erstwhile role as an active citizen in my own country, which is going through difficult times these days. So I think these two areas, plus being able to enjoy my family more and my friends, I think provide you with an answer that I'm not about to retire at all, but I want to just have enough time to shift my attention and my energies in new areas of endeavor.
I shall look forward to reading the first book that you've produced. Nikiforos Diamandouros, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for giving me a chance to be able to just share my views with you.